in Congress could bring money to the state.
Congress is debating a new law to expand free trade with other countries. Senator Mark Kirk visited Illinois farmers this week. He says expanding free trade can open up new markets for farmers in Illinois.
We need those markets, and we need to make sure that we're selling to that 95% of human beings on the planet to make sure that rural incomes are higher and higher in Illinois.
95%. What we need to do is access those consumers to have more opportunity.
Trade for us, trade agreements are about tearing down barriers.
Our businesses are creating the very best products and technology, and their ability to sell those around the world are going to create more jobs in New Hampshire and in this country.
I believe the United States must engage in global marketplace if they're going to survive economically.
The TPA bill is the only way Congress can effectively assert its priorities in our ongoing trade negotiations.
This bill represents an opportunity for Republicans and Democrats to stand together for the middle class.
It'll help people all across this country be able to export goods to other places. But importantly, it will draw those countries more closely to the United States. And it will act as a buffer against the dominance that is taking place now with China.
If we don't do it, China will.
The new trade agreements have the potential to result not just in economic gains for American farmers, ranchers, and manufacturers, but in national security gains for our country.
The Associated Press reports ISIS terrorists, already rampaging through much of Iraq, have captured the ancient Syrian town of Palmyra. The President Obama is focused tonight on another enemy. Correspondent Kevin Cork tonight on the Commander-in-Chief and his interesting call to action.
It was a familiar message, but at an unlikely venue.
You are part of the first generation of officers to begin your service in a world where the effects of climate change are so clearly upon us.
The President of the United States today says, well, it's climate change that we have to worry about. I'm worried about climate change. Do we give a damn about what's happening in the streets of Ramadi?
The fall of Ramadi in Iraq, the brutal terrorist attacks by ISIS, these are clear examples of the real threats that must be addressed by President Obama.
They made a campaign promise to end the war in Iraq. They fulfilled that promise, but what they actually have done is lost the war in Iraq.
I think setback's an understatement. The fall of Ramadi is a big deal.
But ISIL's latest raid and capture of Ramadi is a significant setback for all of us who seek a stable and prosperous Iraq.
The president, I would say, poses a false choice with Iraq, just like he does with Iran, as we've discussed. The choice is not between nothing and 150,000 heavy mechanized troops. I think on the order of a few thousand more. That's really a question, though, for our commanders to provide their best military judgment.
Look, it's the executive branch's role to look at it, to make decisions, to bring it back in. But we're also supposed to be actively involved in making sure that he's got the resources necessary in order to carry out the plan.